Okay folks, so we're going to look at circles a little bit this week, and we're going to look at a few definitions of circles, definitions of parts of circles, and do a few calculations with that, and also there's some revision of some of the coordinate work we've done. So let's have a little look at circles and think about, there's three kind of words that we really want to know, and we want to know how to describe a circle with. So the first one is that when we're talking about a circle, we can often talk about it by the point in the centre. So this bit here that I'm drawing in black, that's the centre of the circle, okay, which kind of makes sense. Okay, it's the centre of the circle, and that can sometimes be given a letter. Now, for the centre, now most of the time the letter will be an O. So here the centre of the circle will be O. But it could be another letter, it might be given an A or a B or any other letter. But most of the time when you see questions, it'll be an O. But in a couple of worksheets you're going to do this week, it might be something different. There's then two lines on a circle that are really important. Now, they should be straight lines. Okay, when I draw this, because I'm doing it on my tablet, it might not come out totally straight. Okay, I don't have a kind of straight line tool on the tablet version of OneNote to use. But basically, this line from here to here, so from the centre to the outside of the circle, which we call the circumference of a circle, okay, that is what we call the radius. Okay, that's what we call the radius of the circle. So if we put an A on there, then the radius of the circle, in this case, is the distance O to A, or A to O. So we can call it OA, or we could call it AO, and that's the radius of the circle. Okay, and then the other line that we've got that's important goes all the way across the circle from side to side, through the centre, okay, like that, and that's what we call the diameter of the circle. Okay, so the diameter of the circle goes from one point on the outside to right across the circle through the centre to another. Okay, and if we put a B here and a C here, then we can call that diameter BC, or we could call it CB. Okay, so three important parts of a circle: the centre, which is right in the middle; the radius, which is from the centre to the outside, the circumference of the circle. And there's another word we might want to try and learn: circumference, okay, which is the distance around the outside of the circle, the perimeter of the circle, if you like. And then we've also got, as well as the radius of the circle, we've got the diameter of the circle, which is all the way from one side to the other through the centre, and that is that length. Okay. And sometimes with a circle, we might not always have all that information. Sometimes we might only have one bit or another bit. But if you've got the radius, you're always going to be able to work out the diameter. And if you've got the diameter, you're always going to be able to work out the radius. So let me show you what I mean by that. So in this circle here, I've marked on the centre, let's call it M. And then we go to the outside, which is N, okay, and MN is our radius, and I'm going to tell you that MN is 10 centimetres, okay. Now, I'm going to mark on the diameter. Now, we can go anywhere as long as it goes from one side to the other, so I'm going to go like that, and remember it should be a straight line, and I'm going to call that PQ. So PQ is the diameter. Now, we can tell what the diameter of that circle is because we know the radius, okay? The radius is 10 centimetres, but the radius is the distance from the centre to the outside. So this distance from M to P is also a radius, so it is also 10 centimetres. And this distance from M, this distance from M to Q is also the distance from the centre to the outside, so it's also a radius, it's also 10 centimetres. So PQ is that 10 plus that 10, so PQ is 10 times 2, or double 10, or 10 add 10, it's 20 centimetres. So the rule is, and this is something that's going to be really important, guys, the rule is that the radius, or the diameter, sorry, let's talk about it this way, the diameter is always 2 times the radius. Okay, so if you're ever asked to work out the diameter of a circle and you know its radius, you just double it. So let me do one more example. In this circle here, I have given you a radius. This radius is WY. Okay, so the radius WY is, let's say, 7 centimetres. Now, I've told you that the radius is 7 centimetres. What's the diameter going to be? Well, we know that I've just told you that the diameter, the distance from the centre, from either side, through the centre, is 2 times the radius, or double the radius. So we're doing 2 times 7, so the diameter is going to be 14 centimetres. So if you ever need the diameter and you've got the radius, you just need to double it. And it can work the other way as well, guys. Okay, so if instead I gave you the diameter of this circle and I told you that the length of that diameter, let's call it BC. So BC is the diameter. Okay, so if BC is, let's say, 18 centimetres, then what is the radius? Okay, so the radius of the circle, remember, is just the distance from the centre to the outside in a straight line. Okay, so if the whole distance from B to C is 18, then we're looking at half the distance this time. So the radius is half of 18, which is going to be 9 centimetres. So the thing you need to remember for the first few sets of work this week, okay guys, is you need to remember that the diameter is 2 times the radius. So if you know the radius, you just double it and you'll have the diameter. And the radius, so if you're trying to work out the radius, then that's half of the diameter. Okay, and that should help you with all of that. Okay, and then just remembering the 3 parts of the circle, very dodgy circle there, but your diameter is that one there, all the way across. Your radius is from just the centre to the outside. Okay, and then that part there is the centre of the circle. And hopefully that'll help, but you've got lessons this week you can ask for help, remember.